So as we've been going through this course, you might be wondering how I got my VS Code to look and act how it does. Well, that's why I really like VS Code, because you can customize it so much. And the way you do that is by going through and adding some extensions. So I thought I'd walk through all these extensions and show you how I got my VS Code looking and acting like this. Now we're going to skip a lot of them because they're not related to Flutter or my VS Code development whatsoever. For example, this Astro one is for developing websites. C# is also not really related. C# is just a different language. And there's many other of these that don't really matter here, but I will go over the ones that do matter. So first one is community material theme. That is the theme that I use for VS Code. This is what the community material theme is. It comes with a couple different ones. So for example, there is a community material theme high contrast that looks like this. This is the base community material theme, and then there's the lighter one that I do sometimes use. But this one kind of burns your eyes, so I don't use it that often. This is my favorite one. Then there's the copy widget. And this one, while I was preparing for this lesson, I actually forgot that I actually have, and it's very useful. So by clicking Alt-W, it auto selects the widget for you. So let's say we are within this theme data widget, and we want to select this whole theme data. Instead of having to go like this every time, we just click anywhere inside it and say Alt or Option W, and it selects the whole widget for us. Now we can remove it if we want, or we can copy it, do whatever we want with this whole widget. Very useful extension. This next one is straightforward. It's just the Dart. There's going to be a Flutter one down here as well, so that one's Flutter. Then we have Dart Data Class Generator. This one I brought up in the course, but whenever you're generating a data class, for example, this to-do one, if you click Command period, it pops up all these things you could add. So you could generate a whole data class for it, which adds in functions like copy with, to map, from map. So you can convert your data from a map to a map. You can create a new instance of this object with the previous values plus whatever you pass in, and a bunch of other ones in there. The next one is Firebase. So this one just adds in some syntax highlighting and helps you write out things related to Firebase. But you can look at the example here. It just gives you some syntax, makes it easier to write Firebase related things. Then you have Firebase Explorer. So this is an extension down here you can go to. You connect your account and you see all of your Firebase projects. For example, we had the Twitter one. We can see our tweets here. We go into our tweets collection, which has a tweets document. And here we have my first tweet. Now, if we were in the code and we're updating this, you can refresh. It'll refresh it and show you the updated tweet. For some reason, I still stick to using the web version, maybe because I like it being on a separate window and everything. But this is very cool that you could do it all within VS Code. So the next one was Flutter. And after that, we have Flutter RiverPod snippets. This makes it so you could add in providers a lot easier within RiverPod, or even consumers, stateless consumers, stateful consumers, all these RiverPod related things. You have little shortcuts that pop in and fill out the rest of the code that you need. Then I have GitHub Copilot, which is your AI pair programmer. This is what this little icon down here means. So you can activate it and deactivate it. Basically, AI that helps you write code. It finishes the code line for you. If you're writing a comment, actually asking it to generate a whole line of code like here. So get the Goodreads key from environment. If it's there, bail, so right there. Writes out the code for you without you even needing to write it. Now the reason it's deactivated and has been deactivated for most of this course, although it is cool, it doesn't work fantastic for Flutter and Dart. Another thing I realized, it sometimes writes out the code and you might not understand it, and sometimes ends up confusing me more than helping me. But I do use it from time to time, especially when writing JavaScript or doing some web-based programming. Next one is Image Preview. It's just a cute little one that shows you the image in your little taskbar over here. So you know if you import it right, you should see it right there. Just a nice to have. Then you have JavaScript and TypeScript. Jupyter is to do with Python, so we're going to skip all of those. Then you have Live Server, which is also web development, where you could launch a website quickly to the right as you're working with it. LiveShare is pretty cool. So LiveShare lets you pair program with people. You can start a LiveShare session, send a link to your friends, and you can both jump into VS Code and be editing together. Let's see if they showcase it here. You can see participants join in, and you can see what line they are, and you'll actually be able to see their cursor live and changing things directly in front of you. It's very cool. Then I have Markdown all-in-one. This is an all-in-one solution to make it easier to write Markdown files. So usually the readmes here do Markdown, and you can see you have this little highlighting. So it gives you the syntax. This changes to yellow and puts a little icon here that this is a link. If you have a table, for example, in Markdown, let's say we have table and then another one, and you set up a table to look like this in Markdown. So it's just a specific syntax. We say, hey, and then you put in whatever. And once you save it, you'll see it'll adjust to here to make it line up nicely. It's just easier to work with. It's a nice all-in-one solution for writing Markdown. The next extension, I have Markdown Preview Enhanced. So this is just the default preview that comes, but if I click this, you'll see it's a little bit nicer preview. Maybe if I bring back the table, you see this table highlight like this. You can see a table of contents here. Remove it, refresh it, jump to the top. Has little features that make preview a little bit better. And you can customize how the theme of this preview and things like that. All right, per your code formatter is for web, Python, remove comments. So you've probably seen me use this within the course. If you have a bunch of comments in your code, you can run this command and it just removes all the comments. Simple. Svelte is another language for web development, so we're going to skip that. Then we have tab out, which I keep forgetting that I have as well. What tab out lets you do is, let's say you're within here. Normally, you have to go with your arrow key, but tab out lets you click tab and it jumps out of these little brackets. So let's say we're working within this icon theme data. You want to get out of this, so you click tab and you'll jump out and be ready to write the next thing. It's just a quick little shortcut that makes it a little faster. Like I said, I honestly forget that I have it. Don't always use it, but pretty cool. Tailwind is web development, TypeScript, web development, Unity, and Unity Tools is for Unity development, of course. If you don't know, Unity is a game development engine. I've worked with it a little bit, not that much, but have the tools in VSCode. And the last one is VSCode icons. If you saw these icons over here, you see a little Dart logo. This is because I have VSCode icons installed. There's a little animation here. Normally it's just like little ticks like that. Then you add in the VS Code icons and you can see they update to look a little bit nicer. So that's how I got my VS Code to act and look like this.